What is up and welcome back to a brand new video series. We are finally playing Menelik II of Ethiopia, Pangaea map, Deity difficulty, and we're also going to try out the new Secret Societies game mode. Now, I've already done a test run of Ethiopia. 2 to 3 times. I've played for like 50 to 60 turns, and they are pretty good at what they do. The one problem is their early game is absolute shit. Here's what I mean by that. They're going to have more science and culture than any other Civ at the beginning of the game, simply because they get massive boosts to faith. And with the new Secret Societies game mode, there is one Secret Society that allows you to build a monument replacement that gives you 4 faith per turn, which is absolutely incredible. The thing is, without any combat bonuses early on, especially on Deity difficulty, they do have the hill combat bonus, but that's much more defensive. Because if you're trying to attack someone on a hill, even with that combat bonus, it's not going to work. You're still going to die. But anyway, we have a pretty decent start. We have a lot of production, almost no food though. We do have a few 2-food tiles, but the closest 3-food tile is a long way away. And the Void Slingers, Singers, whatever they are, that is what I was talking about. We now have a powerful monument replacement that'll allow us to get an early Pantheon, hopefully an early Settler, and will allow us to increase our science and culture just by having faith. Definitely one of the best things about Ethiopia is how their faith scales their science and culture. We got our first Slinger, we're going to send him down south to explore. I'm going to try a new strategy today. I want to build 4 military units before I start building any infrastructure. I think one of the hardest things about Deity is early on you can just get manhandled by the AI. You need extra population, that's nice. But you need a solid defense force early on, not just to deal with civs, to deal with barbarians. If a scout finds your civilization, you are not going to win. Simply, you're not going to be able to catch that scout, and because of that, you are not going to be able to stop the barbarian from spawning units, so therefore the next best thing, in my opinion, is to just build a solid military force early on. But, looking at this, Addis Ababa is struggling food-wise exceptionally, like a lot. That's a big part of why I went to animal husbandry first, believe it or not. I knew there was really 1 or 2 spots that horses would spawn, and most of the time you are going to have horses around your first city, and horses give you like 2 food and 1 production. So I thought, let me go animal husbandry first so I can get a nice food tile, and it ended up working out. Believe it or not, that was actually my plan the entire time. We do have Granada to the north, but they are going to be a non-factor pretty much. Because they're closest to us, we're going to be able to have suzerainty with them for the entire game. Probably 3 to 4 envoys is good. Most people aren't even going to know about Granada until late game. But anyway, Addis Ababa's looking good. It's going to achieve 4 population by about turn 20, which is extremely well. And the good news about this is we have found the barbarian encampments and are proceeding to exterminate them. Now, I don't, or do I, condone. I don't agree with exterminating natives, but if they are barbarians, they must go, especially in a Civ game. One of the best things about Secret Societies game mode, in my opinion, is you get so many free extra government slots, policies, thingies. Like, you're only going to use 1 on a Secret Society. Ooh, free encampment, let's go. But you're going to have like 4 in total. I think it's like 1 from a tribal ruin, 1 from meeting a city-state, 1 from meeting a civ, and 1 from doing something else. No idea why. Just trying to figure out where I'm going to settle. There's a lot of hills here, but not too many rivers, which kind of sucks. Anyway, let's keep attacking. Taking out encampments early on is extremely important, which is why getting an early defense force is extremely important as well. I'd say the best strategy you can do, especially if you're new at Deity, is to get 3 to 4 military units early on to just deal with barbarians. You're never going to be able to catch a scout once it, like, has the red exclamation mark and it knows your territory, it's never going to happen. So the best thing you can do in this situation is to just have a large enough military to take out encampments before they spawn scouts, and to defend if the scouts ever begin spawning barbarians. But anyway, as you can see, the old god Obloisk, the replacement to the monument, gives me 4 faith, and improving a strategic resource gives me 1 faith, so I have 5 faith per turn in total by turn 18, which is incredible, and because of my unique ability, I am getting science and culture from it as well. I think about 1 per turn from each. There is the Dead Sea, another decent natural wonder. The culture and gold is helpful, but it's not going to be too important to the strategy. There is Peter the Great, and he is blue. That's a nice blue for Russia. Kind of like the blue better than the yellow. I think it's probably because Menelik is yellow, so they had to put Russia a different color. That's probably it. But anyway, we get Suzerainty of Granada. Kind of just wanted to explore up north a little bit. And our culture is looking extremely strong right now, 6.4 by turn 20. That is not bad at all. Okay, another culture per turn. I actually got kind of confused at the beginning because first playthrough I would improve a resource and I'd expect like the little faith symbol thing to be on the actual resource, but it isn't. The faith does not show up on the actual resource you improved, and there is a barbarian scout I was talking about. I'm going to keep exploring with these guys, mainly because that barbarian encampment is right above Granada, really, and I think Granada should be able to take them out, but I also did buy a warrior just in case. And I think I'll go for fertility rights here because that would mean more faith. And the growth rate is pretty nice too, especially considering I'm going to be struggling a little bit when it comes to food. I move my builder, and the scout isn't going to take it because his encampment is still active, and because of that, the scout won't go out of its way to steal, like, civilian units. It does happen sometimes, but not to the point where I'm not going to improve this juicy luxury resource to improve my production, culture, and my amenity situation. There is the city-state of Auckland. I'm trying to find a good place to settle. There is a massive mountain range, which means if I settle that city to the east, right beside my wounded warrior, right where I'm going to send the settler actually, I can just settle at my own pace. There is no way anybody... It's pretty much locking off the continent. Not continent, really, but the mountain range. The city spots south of Addis Ababa I don't have to worry about because the city-state's in the way. And if I'm just able to settle the city east of that wounded warrior, I'll be able to lock off anybody else from expanding west, and I would have a lot of room to expand in my continent. Now, Granada is sending some units to go take out that encampment, and I will reinforce with my warrior. I don't know how a scout would work in this setup. Like, 3 to 4 early units, 4 early units really, it's good, but the thing is, I'd have to send at least 2 of them to begin exploring. Sometimes even 3. I guess leave 1 warrior as a garrison, or 2 or something, I don't know. I'm still another builder. Oh my god, that is 10.5 faith per turn by turn 26. Absolutely monstrous. And because of that, I am also getting about 1.5 extra science and 1.5 extra culture, which is also massive. Now, there are no horses near that barbarian encampment, so I don't have to worry about horsemen and horse archers, which absolutely suck. Yeah, that encampment should not be a problem, and I am going to send one of the builders to go ahead and... Do I want the Alcazar? No. I forgot what I was saying, but... Oh, there's Pedro. And Pedro is a little far east. Yeah, he's too far to achieve any loyalty pressure or whatever. There's 4 barbarians, shouldn't be too big of a problem seeing as 3 of them are wounded, and we are finding a lot of tribal villages early on. I'm just going to fortify. Menelik definitely, if you're thinking about playing Menelik, you definitely want Secret Societies on. Mainly because the old god obelisk, which is found from an ancient ruin, is so strong on him. That is a massive amount of early faith, which translates to a good bit of early science and early culture. So I'm going to send this builder to go ahead and chop down that forested plains hill, and then I'm going to put a holy site on top of it. I didn't go for holy sites first because I don't want to go for a religious game. Looking at Menelik, his abilities, pretty much what you want to do is build a lot of faith, but use that faith towards a culture victory, which is what I'm going to try and do. And because of that, I don't want a religion. If I get a religion, it's fine, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. But I'm not going to spread my religion because that is just a waste of faith, and I can always get faith bonuses from another civ's religion. Plus, we have Russia in this game, who is undoubtedly the best religious civ in the entire game. Now, we do have 2 early settlers. I think that should be enough for now. I'm also going to settle right beside the Dead Sea with the 2nd settler, I think. Or Red Sea, or whatever it is. Mainly because that literally just completely locks off the entire continent. Like, there is no way for any other civ, it's impossible for any other civ to settle any of these cities. Therefore, I could spend my time expanding outside of the mountain range. I could make cities, to the south of Auckland, for example, if I get the loyalty for it. I do think I want to take out Russia later on in the game. I just feel like they're just going to be an issue. Number 1, I want to expand down south. I'd rather expand down south than east because Russia's going to focus on faith, and if I absorb their faith into my empire, I will have so many archaeological museums, so many archaeologists, so many rock bands, that a culture victory will be super easy. But as of right now, we have to focus on the early game, and that is settling as many cities as we can, getting as much faith as we can, and making sure we mostly settle on hills. To get the 15% science and culture boost, you must settle on hills, which is what I am trying to do. Suzerainty of Auckland. This is a strategy I use that not too many people talk about. I don't know how good it is, but because I don't like building scouts early on, I just feel like it's a waste. I know most people say they're effective, but like, they have 1 more movement than the warrior, and they are completely trash when it comes to combat. Not only that, but movement was overhauled in Civ 6. Civ 5, I did build scouts, because they ignored terrain, and I found that much better than extra movement speed, 1 extra movement speed. Having a unit solely dedicated to scouting is a good idea, but I would rather spend a little bit more production and get a unit that helps defend my empire, just like a warrior, especially on Deity. But what I'm talking about is I like moving Amani the Diplomat around early game, because you can easily just complete a city-state quest, put her in, get suzerainty, and it sort of scouts out the area for you. I'm going to give Connoisseur for Pingala. I want Researcher and Connoisseur. But yeah, that's just a strategy I like to use, move Amani around. It's a good strategy, it helps you explore more of the map, especially late game, when borders are pretty much closed and you're not going to really scout inside anybody's border later on in the game. Maybe Suzerainty of a far-off city-state will give you a massive scout thing. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, looking around, that is city number 10 I just pinned down. It seems like Russia is so far south that they're not exerting too much loyalty past the mountain pass. It's a blessing and a curse, the mountain pass. No one's going to try and take me out, but at the same time, nobody... How do I have 5 housing? What? There's no way I have 5 housing. That's the Dead Sea, right? I thought it didn't give, like, any bonuses. Maybe it's a type of lake. Reds. I don't know. I have 5 housing, I guess. But anyway, we do have a fairly solid start, very defensive for sure, so I don't have to focus too much on military units, and we made a lot of faith this early on. That's awesome. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe for future content, and if you enjoyed, don't forget to check out the next video, and I will see you all next time.